Hello, Assalamu alaikum. In this lecture series, I'm going to show you mm, the smart PLS, right, from basic to advanced level, right? So at first, we need to know what is a smart PLS. On the other hand, we need to know what is PLS SEM, right? So this is the different concept actually. Theoretically, PLS SEM is the common theme or the main theme, right? PLS, it means partial least square based structural equation modeling. So theoretically, this is the main theme. Smart PLS is a tools, so you can use any other tools actually, right? But in this lecture series, for practical purpose, actually, we will use the Smart PLS software. However, this is Dr. Nazmul Hassan. I've been working as an assistant professor in information system department, right? I usually teach business analytics, data analytics, computer application for business, right? These types of course, actually. I mean, which is related to information system. However, we can start. So, introduction. At first, we need to know what is PLS SEM. So, PLS SEM, it means partial least square structural equation modeling. It's a statistical tools actually. We use these tools to analyze complex relationship between the observed variable and the unobserved variable, right? In some cases, we'll say we'll investigate the relationship between the or among the independent variables and dependent variables, right? So independent variable might be single or multiple, and dependent variable also might be single or multiple, right? Okay. So traditionally, in the first generation analytical technique, majority of the people or person or the data analyst used multiple regression, logistic regression, and in some cases analysis of variance. I mean ANOVA, MANOVA, right? Some cases the one sample t-test, two sample t-test, and blah blah blah. So these are the traditional idea, right? But in second generation, when you will have multiple construct or factor and you will have multiple dependent variables, right? Predictor and target variables. In that case, in many cases, you're unable to use the traditional idea like multiple regression or logistic regression, right? Uh, when you will have lots of construct, I mean predictor and multiple dependent variables, I mean target variables, right? And under each and every construct or factor, when you will have some items, so it's quite difficult to calculate the predictive value using the traditional way, right? So in that case, we use the second generation analytical technique like partial least square based structural equation modeling, right? So if we say here, just 1 minute. Just give it some times. Okay. So if you see here, the PLS SEM enables researcher to estimate the interrelated and multiple dependencies in a single analysis, right? So if you use the traditional way, you cannot do this actually. So SEM's capability to evaluate complex measurement models and multitude of variable and level of construct has enabled researchers to investigate complex relationship, right? Once again, the complex relationship. But using the traditional way like SPSS or advanced Excel tools, right? Or the basic tools of Stata, you cannot do this actually. Okay. So these are the explanation of first generation analytical tools and second generation analytical tools, right? Okay, so here it's a common question, right? Why do we use SEM? Why do we prefer SEM, structural equation modeling? So to be honest, there are three reasons. One, the research objective. Second one, data characteristics. And the final one, complexity of the model. So step by step, we will learn what is these three reasons. Why do we prefer SEM, right? So first one, research objective. If your research objective is quite related to the predictive oriented, right? So you can use PLS SEM, right? So during research design, you know the prospective analytical types. What would be the prospective analytical types or analytical action in your research, or what types of data you will collect. It may be the categorical data, it may be the continuous data, right? Discrete data. By the way, so based on this, definitely as a researcher, you will have a objective. Does my research or is my research will be predictive or descriptive or prescriptive, right? Or forecasting research. So if your research is quite related to the predictive related, then definitely you can use the PLS SEM, right? So PLS SEM is a variant based approach. So today I'm not going to deep into the water, variant based approach. And just I'm saying there are two approach. One is variance based approach, another is covariance based approach, right? But in the structural equation modeling, PLS is a variance based approach, right? So it applies OLS, I mean ordinary least square regression. So finally, to estimate the coefficient, right, and try to maximize the R square value. This is the predictive relevance value, right? Predictive coefficient value. Okay, so this is one reason. Secondly, data characteristics. In many cases, we don't get a good result if the sample size is small, even less than 100. But structural equation modeling or PLS SEM can handle small data set, right? Even if the data set is less than 100, right? So SEM can handle it, and you might get a very good predictive value, right? On the other hand, normally we think about the normalization of the data, right? But PLS SEM, I mean SmartPLS, doesn't care about the normal distribution, right? So data is normally distributed or not, it doesn't matter in SmartPLS. Okay. On the other hand, if we use the traditional software like SPSS, Stata or other, so we need to do some transformation, right? I mean computation of data. If we have several types of data, I mean nominal data, ordinal data, interval data, ratio scale, right, or the binary coded data. So if you have several types of data, I mean the measurement scale, so you may need to uh, clean or transform the data into a same scale. Otherwise, you will not get the perfect result. But in SmartPLS, doesn't matter when you will have several types of data or scale, right? Doesn't matter. On the other hand, complex model. In the last slide, I have already said that when you will have multiple predictors, multiple dependent variable, right? And under each predictor or factor, when you will have multiple indicator, or we can say measurement item, right? It's quite difficult to calculate using the traditional method like SPSS or Excel. So this model is quite complex, and for this complex model, you can use the SmartPLS, right? On the other hand, the goal is to predict and explore rather than the confirm hypothesis. It doesn't matter your hypothesis will be confirmed or not, right? hypothesis may be correct or may be incorrect, right? It doesn't matter. But how is the predictive value? How is the predictive relevance, right? So you can ensure using these types of data. On the other hand, finally, missing data. So in most cases, actually, our normal practice, we replace the missing data by mean, right? Or pairwise deletion, right? Or in many research paper, I found that many scholars recently replace the missing value using the median value, right? So don't worry if you use the smart PLS, and just if the missing value is quite less than 5%, right? So you can just define it and it will not impact on your result or predictive relevance or predictive coefficient. That is why, so second reason for these types of data characteristics, we use the smart PLS, right? So so third one is model complexity. So smart PLS handle many structural models or complex model and easily incorporate reflective and formative measurement model. So there is another question comes here, right? Reflective and formative. By the way, in the next slide, we will learn what is reflective and what is formative. On the other hand, at the same time, we cannot analyze the mediating or the moderator effect of the predictor variables on the target variable, right? But if we use the smart PLS, we can easily handle it, right? So for this three reason, for this three reason, research objective, it could be the predictive oriented data characteristics. There are lots of data characteristics in here, right? And finally, the model complexity. That is why for these three reasons we use smart PLS, right? Okay, but here in data characteristics, the main advantages is to handle the very small data set, right? So this is the uh, uh, main advantages actually, right? Okay, so in the next slide, there is a common question: when to use smart PLS, right? So when the research is exploratory in research, once again, exploratory, not explanatory, exploratory research in nature. So you can use the smart PLS or PLS SEM. And the goal is to predict outcome or behaviors, right? Predict outcomes or behaviors. You can use the smart PLS. On the other hand, theory development, right? Still emerging process actually. But for theory development, it is wise to use the CB SEM, covariance based SEM, rather than using the variance based SEM, right? For validation, the theory, researcher or the scholars suggest to use the CBSEM. Okay, when the sample size is limited or small, I said in the last slide, when dealing with non-normal data and missing value, I have already mentioned, right? Okay, so next one, for this reason actually, in this situation we use the PLS SME. Here is an example of path model. It was retrieved from here, right? Retrieved from this paper, this path model. In this path model, actually, you will see there are lots of options. For example, these are Y1, Y2, Y3. For example, family power, family culture, family experience. These are the independent variable, right? And final dependent variable is relationship value. But strategic information sharing and the innovation, these two variables are acting as a mediating variable or mediating factor, right? So when you will have these types of value, right? Sorry, I will explain it in next slide. By the way, these are the structural model or the inner model. once again, here see please here, measurement model or outer models of exogenous latent variable. What is the outer model? These one are the outer model, right? These one are the outer model, but here this part is the inner model. Okay, so in this graph or in this model, path model, you will see two types of arrow sign. One is for from factor to the measurement item. On the other hand, these are the measurement item. So measurement item to the factor, right, is quite reciprocal or reverse, right? So what does it mean? So application of SEM. SEM has found widespread use of various fields, right? My question, where we cannot use the PLS SEM? Each and every sector or domain or field, we can use the PLS SEM. So including marketing, information system, human resource, and finance. On the other hand, healthcare, right? Everywhere. So in marketing, if you would like to understand or investigate the customer satisfaction, loyalty, and brand equity, right, you can use. Information system, if you would like to investigate, evaluate, assess the technological adoption and system use, you can use the PLS SME, right? Human resource, if you would like to investigate the job satisfaction or employee engagement, right? On the other hand, right, for example, right here, what are the impact of employee engagement on job satisfaction? You can use PLS SME. In finance, you can investigate the impact of financial literacy or digital financial literacy on the investment decision, right? So you can use the PLS SME, right? So each and every sector we can use, even in healthcare also. Okay, okay. So these are application area of PLS SME. It's flexible, handle small data, formative construct, prediction oriented, complex model. To be honest, we have already talked all these things or all these factors in the previous slides, right? But these are the application area actually. Okay, there are lots of tools to use or to apply for practical purpose actually. The smart PLS SEM, right? So PLS SEM is a theory, right? For example, partial least square based structural equation modeling, right? What is the structural equation modeling? Structural equation model is a complex model, which is also known as the path model, right? So we can apply the smart PLS software, right? On the other hand, SPSS, AMOS, there are other software, RAP, PLS, right? On the other hand, you also can use the R. There is a package. That package is free package actually. Its name is PLS PM, right? If you are used to use R software, so you will find this package, right? It's free, and you can use the R. In the latest version of Stata, if I'm not wrong, after the 13th version of Stata, so you will have another option of structural equation modeling. But to be honest, smart PLS software is very easy to use, right? That is why within this journey to learn structural equation modeling, right, I will use the smart PLS. So I will use the smart PLS version 4, right? To be honest, it's not the free software, but for student, it's free, but you cannot import more than 100 data. If you have only 100 data, you can use the student version, but there are some limitation. Not some limitation, there are lots of limitation, right? So you need to buy it from PLS, Smart PLS website or any other forms, right? So this all about the basic of the smart PLS, right? There are some references from where I retrieve the information, right? So from this paper or from this guideline, I actually retrieve the information for this presentation, right? You can read these types of paper, or you can offer to any other to read this paper to understand more or details of partial least square based structural equation modeling. So within the whole journey, please stay with me. I will try my best to give you some suggestion how to handle it very easily, effectively, efficiently, and in an interactive way, right? Using the real-time example. So enjoy the PLS SEM. So up to the next video, keep me in your prayers and Allah Hafiz.